Hooty hoo, all my stock market gamblers. Welcome today. I'm Tall Mike. So glad you're here. What do we got going on in the markets today? Well, the Dow's down about 100. NASDAQ's down about 30 with a little bit of a down day. Now, we've had 7 up days in a row. 7 up days. Last week was the best week the stock market has had. You got to go back over a year. Now, 2 weeks before that, of course, was one of the worst weeks the stock market ever had. So it kind of made this V shape where we came down and then we just took right back off and we're back to where we started at. So we're going nowhere fast. Now, I think this market is going to pull back here. I think you're going to get a little bit of a pullback. You see, what we've been doing is we've been gapping up higher. Every day we start higher, we start higher, we start higher. And those are what are called gaps when you open up higher than the close of the previous day. Now we're going to come back down and fill some of those gaps. That's my take. Your take, maybe we keep going straight up. Now I do think we're going to push this higher into the end of the year. So what I'm looking for is a lower low. Now we were down here at 4,100 and we shot straight up to 4,400 on the S&P. 300-point move just in like a little bit over a week. Now, I do think we're going to retrace at least half of that. That's my take. Probably down to about 4,200. May come all the way down to 4,100 again and retest that low before they push this higher. It's just the games that they play in the stock market. The big boys can push this market around. And right now, the professionals are getting short again. And then they're going to cover their shorts and it'll be off to the races. Just my take. Maybe yours is completely different. All right, let's get over to the real estate market now. So the real estate market, Fannie Mae, they do this survey, right? And in the survey, they ask people if they think it's a good time to buy or a bad time to buy a house. Now, 85% of the people say it's a bad time to buy a house. Now, that's a record. 85% is a record. 85% of people think it's a bad time to buy. But here's the interesting thing. Only 23% of the people in the same survey think that house prices are going lower. Now, why would they think it's a bad time to buy if they don't think it's house prices are going lower? I don't really understand that one, but yes, it is a bad time to buy. Yes, house prices are going lower. Now, I read an article on Yahoo Finance. Yahoo Finance finally came out with an article I agree with. Anyways, they say that house prices are going to fall in 2024. Now, I agree with that. Now, this is Meredith Whitney. Now, she's an analyst. She called the financial crisis, right? And she says we're going to get back into another crisis here. Now, I believe she's correct on that. Now, a lot of her calls have been way off, so I don't give her that much merit. But she's calling that there's going to be a downturn in the housing market in 2024 and the prices are going to start to come down. Now, she points out, well, she uses the statistics from AARP, the old people, Okay, so old people, 50% of old people, they're planning to downsize. 50% of them, 50% of them. Now, 70% of houses in the United States are owned by people over 50 years old. 70% of houses owned by people over 50 and 50% of the people over 50 are planning to downsize. Now that's interesting. That put about 30 million units onto the marketplace, right? 30 million homes coming for sale. Now what she goes on to say is that this is a big dynamic shift in the market because you're going to be getting this inventory, and she says that there's not enough young buyers to absorb this inventory. And we already know that the young buyers can't buy at the price Billy Bob sold it because they don't have the money. So the young people, they want to buy the homes, but they'll have to buy them at a lower rate. So what are the old people going to have to do? Well, they're going to have to reduce the price. The prices will start to come down because you see, now I have a lot of clients like this. A lot of people my age, they're getting into their ready to retire and they're looking at all their money, right? And well, they don't have any. That's the problem. All their money's in their house. Okay. So what are they going to do? Well, their house, they can't tap that equity, right? They can't get it out of there. They can't refinance because then the rate's higher, right? They got 2.8, so they can't refinance it up to 8%. That'd be stupid. So the only way they can really get their equity out of the house is to sell the house. Now they got equity in there right now. Right now they do. And some people are going to make it out with the equity. Now Billy Bob, he got out with all of his equity. Equity's already come down though. It's down about 5%, 5% year over year. That's the national average, how much their house price has come down year over year, about 5%. Now, I know some areas like my area, we're down much more than that, down about 10 to 15%. I know your area, you're probably up 50%, maybe up 100% last year because you live in that great area where it only goes up. And that's cool, that's cool. But all right, but the national average is down about 5.6%. Okay, now what does the average person put down on a home? A lot of you don't know this, but it's actually 6%. 6%. Okay, now there's companies out there like Zillow, like Rocket Mortgage, 1%, right? 1% down. Now, if you had bought a home for 1%, now let's say you go buy a home right now, 1% down. Well, you're going to be underwater the whole time you have this house. You're never going to be able to get out of the house because it takes about 7%, let's call it. I mean, just sell the house some, maybe 8% if you pay a full commission. Oh, my last video, that triggered a lot of nerds in a lot of people. They didn't like the commission one. But anyways, it takes money to sell your house, right? Now, a lot of these people were telling me it shouldn't cost anything to sell the house. They should just have the digital app, right? I mean, you shouldn't have to pay anyone to sell your house. Completely ridiculous to pay somebody. How stupid are you? But anyways, it triggered a lot of nerves, a lot of comments. I got called a lot of names. Let's see, what was my favorite winning name? How about Worthless Parasite? Oh, I like that one. Oh, that was a good one. Anyways, but I got called a lot of names, and that's okay, but it costs money to get out of the property. So if you go out and buy a house with the Zillow mortgage or the Rocket mortgage, 1% down, and let's say you want to get out of it, let's say you want to sell it, you have to bring another 6, 7, 8% just to the closing table, and that's if they don't go down. That's if they stay right at this level. If they go down, you got to bring more, right? But you're underwater. You're underwater the whole time you own the house. But the average person puts 6% down, 6%, right? Okay, well, the market's already come down on average across the nation, 5.6%. So that equity's already wiped out. Now, if they want to get out of the property, well, they got to come in with the 6, 7, 8% to pay for the closing costs to get rid of the property. Now, a lot of people are already giving the properties back to the banks. Short sales are already starting in a lot of areas. Areas like Phoenix, areas like Las Vegas, parts of Texas, short sales are happening. The bank already owns the property. In my area, short sales are already happening also. And banks, they take the property back, they get the keys, and they go sell the house. They call me up and they say, Mike, you want to list this for us? Sure, I'll list it for you. All right. So I go sell the house for the bank. You see, the banks are not allowed to sell their own house. That's a weird law, right? A homeowner, he can sell his own house, but the banks, they're not allowed to. I'm not sure why that is the law, but I know that is on the books. Okay. Now, here's the thing. All right. So you put 6% down, your equity's wiped out, right? And now you want out. Well, let's say you got relocated. Let's say your job changed, right? All right. Well, you're kind of stuck there. You can't take that new job. You got to turn it down. But Mike, it pays me $50,000 a year more. I know, but what are you going to do with your house? You got to come up with 8% just to get rid of it. Oh, that's a good question. I think I'll make it a rental. All right, so you're now a landlord, right? You're now a landlord. Let's say your house is in California. You got transferred to Texas. Let's say your tenant, well, let's say he trashes the place and then moves out. Do you come back to California to manage that? Look, being a landlord's not that easy, but a lot of people are going to try it. A lot of people are going to try to be a landlord. I've done it. It's not a fun business. It's a dirty business. Now, I know you tech people, you always tell me that, well, technology can solve all the landlord problems. They can be your manager. Well, it doesn't work that way. It's a dirty business. You get a toilet backed up, somebody's got to come in and with the plunger, right? I mean, somebody's got to do that because your tenant, he ain't going to do that for you. No, he's going to let that water run all over the place. He don't care. It's not his place. So there's a lot of problems in being a landlord. But right now, you got one person out of every five that has, okay, people that have a mortgage on their house, right? People that have mortgages. Some houses, 20, 30%, they're paid for. They're paid off. But the other 70 to 80%, they have mortgages on their house. Now, of the people that have the mortgages on their house, one out of every five is already underwater. They're already underwater. Now, how long will they keep paying? A lot of people say, well, I'm going to pay until I'm dead, right? You're in your forever home. You're feeling a little bit stuck, right? You're feeling a little bit trapped in that home because you're locked in at that 2.8. You can't get relocated to another job. You have to stay here. You have a house. You're locked in. Okay. Well, here's the thing. You see, the demographics are telling you that there's going to be the baby boomers are going to be dumping their home to get the equity out so they can go retire. They'll downsize into an apartment, maybe into an old folks home. But the demographics are against you. You can go out and buy a house right now, but you're going to be the bag holder because the demographics are shifting. The demographics, and I mean, the baby boomers is a big demographic. 70% of the homes are owned by baby boomers, and they're going to downsize. They're going to sell them to you now, right? But they're going to start at this price. But as they get wise, as the prices start to come down, they're going to lower their price just to get out. They're going to want out at any cost. Now, if you're patient and you wait, you're going to get a better deal. You jump in today, you're going to be buying within 10% of what Billy Bob sold at. You don't want to buy up here. I'm telling you, the market's going to come down. And that's just demographics. That's not the real problem. Oh, no. No, that's not the real problem. The real problem, let me explain you the real problem. We still have a little time left today. All right, the real problem is the interest rates, right? The Fed has raised them so quickly from 0% to over 5% now that it's done a lot of damage. The damage is already done. You can see it in the commercial end of things. When I say commercial, I'm not just talking about office buildings. I'm talking about apartment complexes. I'm talking about hotels. They're giving hotels back to the lenders. They don't want them. They can't afford them. Look, the rates have gone up, right? They bought these when it was 3% interest. Now they got to pay 8, 9% on commercial properties. They can't afford these. Now, these are not just half off. These are 70, 80% off in many areas. Look at what's used to sell for 120 million, now sells for about 40 million. Okay, and these are skyscrapers, 38 floors. I mean, these could be apartment buildings. These could be office buildings. It doesn't matter. They're all in trouble. Now, who's in trouble with them? Well, the banks own all this debt, right? So they get the keys back from the people. Well, these aren't liquid like a house. Like when the bank gets the key back to a house, bank calls me up. When they get the key back to the skyscraper, they list it for sale. That is correct, but it doesn't sell. It's not liquid. It takes a long time to sell a 38-floor skyscraper. It takes a while. It doesn't just go away like that. It might take them a year, so they just have to drop that price. They're already having fire sales 70, 80% off. Now, of course, this can't happen in the housing market. Everybody knows housing only goes up, especially in your area. We all know that. But this is happening now. Look at the banks are going to freeze up. There's a credit crisis going on. I'm going to talk more about the banks in a different video. I mean, it's really scary out there what's happening to them. I mean, this is scary stuff. The whole system is on the verge of locking up right now. The system locks up. There's nobody going to make it out. Nobody's going to make it out of their house. Yeah, they can sell to cash buyers. I got cash buyers. If you want 40% off for your house from market value, I got a cash buyer for you. I can get you that price. But once the credit market locks up, that cash buyer is going to drop his bid. His bid's going to go down to 50 or only 40% of market value. And that's not going to be very pretty for you. A lot of people, they're all going to be coming onto the market at the same time. 2024, it's just going to be a nasty year. I'd sit back. I would not be a buyer in 2024. I know a lot of you are anxious to buy. Now, you can. I'm not going to stop you. It's a personal decision. There's a lot of reason people buy, I mean, they want that security of the house, right? Well, I don't think the house is that secure right now. I think the house, you're going to be the bag holder. You're going to lose all your money and you're going to lose your credit and you're going to lose a lot more. It is not a good investment right now. I love real estate. There's going to be some great opportunities coming, but you got to be a little bit patient. The opportunities are not here yet. We are nowhere close to the opportunities. You will know when the opportunities come because all these owners that are stuck in their house at that 2.8, they're going to be squealing and they're going to be squealing loud. You're going to hear them because they're going to equity. Equity is going to be wiped out. They're going to try to get out. They can't get out. They're going to give the keys back to the banks. The banks will have all these properties, and that's where the opportunity for you comes in. If you're ready, if you're prepared for that, yeah, you're going to be the one getting the bargain. You're going to be the one getting the wealth transferred to you from the owner. Now they're going to transfer their equity to you because there is no equity going to be. Equity's going to be gone, but they're going to transfer the wealth to you. That's what a wealth transfer is. It's from one person to the other. And if you're positioned for it, you're going to be able to pick these up. Pennies on the dollar. Just my take. You'll see the comments. You'll see the hate names I get called. It's fun, though. I love this stuff. I love you guys. Get out there, everybody. Give me a thumbs up first. Have a great day. I'm Tall Mike. I want to talk to you later in that week, so punch that subscribe button. Bye-bye now.